Is George Russell the answer to Red Bull's future lineup struggles? With Sergio Perez struggling to meet expectations and uncertainty surrounding Max Verstappen's long-term future, Red Bull is keenly eyeing George Russell as a potential solution. Known for his bold personality, undeniable skill set, and impressive performances, Russell has emerged as a standout figure in Formula One. Now let's delve into why Russell might be the key to Red Bull's driver dilemma. Mercedes has been monitoring Red Bull's top driver all year, and now Red Bull is looking at George Russell as a potential target for 2026. After struggling with their young driver program, Red Bull may need to fill spots in their lineup, and Horner believes pursuing Russell, who will be a free agent next year, makes sense. Russell has been a favorite at Mercedes. He rose through the ranks at Williams and joined the main team as their dominance faded and new car rules created challenges. Despite Mercedes' struggles, Russell won a race and was seen as a future leader after Lewis Hamilton's retirement. However, the situation changed when Hamilton unexpectedly signed with Ferrari for 2025. As a result, Russell's future with Mercedes appeared secure as the team began to improve, suggesting that his patience might pay off with a possible championship run. Nevertheless, if Mercedes gets strong by 2026, Russell might not be part of it. The team plans to promote their young F2 star, Kimi Antonelli, to replace Hamilton, while also pursuing Max Verstappen. This scenario could leave Russell without a spot, creating an opportunity for Red Bull to sign him. In the meantime, Mercedes is very happy with George Russell, constantly praising him, and looking forward to 2025 with him and Kimi Antonelli. Team boss Toto Wolff brushed off Christian Horner's comments about Russell, claiming Horner is just trying to stir things up. Despite Horner's remarks, Wolff made it clear that Russell has always been a Mercedes driver and hopes to keep him, though his contract ends in 2025. Adding to this tension, Wolff is frustrated by Horner's remarks, but he's also the one who shaped Mercedes' current driver situation. In fact, he pushed for Antonelli's promotion while also eyeing Verstappen for 2026. With only 2 seats, Mercedes will need to figure out how to handle having 3 top drivers. While Antonelli's contract details aren't public, it's known Russell's deal ends in 2025. This leaves space for Verstappen in 2026, which could mean Russell might be the one to leave. Wolff isn't thinking about this yet, saying the situation will only become relevant as 2025 progresses. It's also possible Verstappen won't be available, and if Russell and Antonelli perform well, Mercedes might just keep them both. Russell's potential availability isn't just about his contract, but Red Bull could still jump at the chance if his future with Mercedes becomes uncertain. Time will tell whether Red Bull is genuinely interested in Russell or simply reacting to Mercedes' pursuit of Verstappen. Earlier this year, Christian Horner first mentioned George Russell to divert attention from Toto Wolff's comments about trying to lure Max Verstappen. During this time, at the Chinese Grand Prix in April, Horner expressed frustration over what he called baseless rumors from Wolff, pointing out that Russell's contract ends in 2025, hinting he might not be available in 2026. Interestingly enough, Russell's contract situation had already been announced by Mercedes the previous summer, suggesting Horner was simply trying to change the subject. Now, with Red Bull's current driver problems, it seems they might have been thinking about Russell back then. Meanwhile, Red Bull is dealing with a driver crisis of their own making. While Verstappen is signed until 2028, doubts remain about his long-term future due to internal issues like power struggles, tensions between Jos Verstappen and Horner, and the team's declining performance. To make matters worse, Red Bull doesn't have a solid backup plan and has mishandled their driver program. Their reliance on external signings hasn't worked. Sergio Perez was a temporary fix, but he struggled to secure his spot. Daniel Ricciardo was brought back in his 30s as a backup, replacing Nyck de Vries in a confusing move by Red Bull. Unfortunately, Daniel Ricciardo has been underwhelming, and his career seems to be nearing its end. Red Bull has a track record of mishandling drivers, including their impatience with Sergio Perez's former teammates, Pierre Gasly and Alex Albon, and their chaotic treatment of Carlos Sainz, who was promoted, demoted, fired, and rehired multiple times, along with Daniel Kvyat's situation. Yuki Tsunoda, the best Red Bull junior in recent years, isn't being seriously considered for the senior team due to concerns about his mentality and approach. This leaves Red Bull without a clear successor if Verstappen leaves or if they need a stronger teammate for him. That's why Liam Lawson is being considered to replace Ricciardo for the last few races of 2024. Red Bull wants to see if he could potentially replace Perez next season. Although Lawson is a Red Bull junior, he might join the senior team without ever completing a full F1 season, which only further highlights the messiness of Red Bull's current driver situation. In fact, Christian Horner's comment about considering drivers outside Red Bull's program brought George Russell into the discussion. Interestingly, Horner mentioned Russell unprompted, hinting he could be a potential replacement for Verstappen. Red Bull typically avoids pairing Verstappen with someone who could seriously challenge him, and Russell's strong personality means he wouldn't settle for a number 2 role. Moreover, their past on-track clashes also suggest it wouldn't be a good fit, implying Red Bull sees Russell as a backup option if the driver market shifts. However, if Red Bull loses Verstappen, it could be Horner's way of acknowledging the team must plan for life without him. Meanwhile, Mercedes is still pursuing Verstappen, and there are rumors that Aston Martin might also be interested. Aston Martin has already taken key Red Bull assets, like the Honda engine Verstappen prefers, and expert Adrian Newey. At the same time, Verstappen is also thinking about leaving F1 entirely. He's hinted he might not stay after his current Red Bull contract and could leave even earlier. The ever-expanding F1 schedule, with more street and sprint races, along with growing commercial demands, has made him question whether it's worth staying. Additionally, a recent issue with the FIA, where he was given community service for swearing at a press conference, has added to his frustration. Verstappen feels he's already achieved more than he expected and is interested in other racing opportunities. Ultimately, if F1 becomes too much trouble, he's ready to walk away. Whether Max Verstappen is tempted by another team or becomes tired of F1, Red Bull needs a reliable lead driver, which they currently lack. While promising F2 driver Isaac Hare and F3 winner Arvid Lindblad are options for the future, they aren't contenders for 2025 seats, and 2026 is too soon for Red Bull to consider them. Even though Toto Wolff dismissed Christian Horner's comments, the idea of Red Bull pursuing George Russell makes sense. Russell may have his critics, but he's a strong driver. He consistently qualifies well and has outperformed Lewis Hamilton in qualifying this year. Despite some mistakes and eagerness in race management, he has also delivered solid performances and is a proven race winner. In the right car, Russell is a championship contender. If Verstappen leaves, none of Red Bull's current options would match his level. If Russell becomes a free agent in 2026, he could solve a major problem for Red Bull if Verstappen departs or is signed by another team. He would provide a dependable lead driver and allow time for promising drivers like Liam Lawson or Hare and Lindblad to develop. The driver market could change significantly in the next 18 months, and Red Bull may need multiple drivers. Former Red Bull drivers Carlos Sainz and Alex Albon, both with Williams, would likely jump at a chance to join a winning team in 2026. If Red Bull continues to dominate and Mercedes' performance declines in the coming years, the driver market could shift dramatically. In such an unpredictable environment, having a rising star like George Russell on the radar could be a game changer. With his undeniable talent and the uncertainty of team performances, Red Bull would be wise to keep a close eye on Russell's situation, because in this ever-evolving sport, anything can happen, and Red Bull can't afford to miss out on a future champion. Given the uncertainties and shifting dynamics in Formula One, do you think George Russell is the key to Red Bull's success? Thank you for being with us through this informative video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your subscription helps us continue creating quality content for you.